At 13, my father struck me so brutally I came to in a hospital alone. Mom said, "You made us look terrible." My father disowned me and shipped me away to boarding school to save face. Years later, their world completely crumbled. And they finally saw what they'd done. See, my family didn't just ignore me, they broke me. I was their bad investment, while my sister was worshipped. For years, I just took it. Then I bailed. I built my own life. I moved on. But they never did. I'm Daniel. I'm 37 now, and I run a digital forensics firm, specializing in audio evidence analysis. Funny how a childhood spent being gaslit makes you really, really good at documentation. Just last night, my wife Rachel and I were on our back porch. The sun was setting, everything was quiet. She looked at me, a glass of wine in her hand, and asked, "Would you ever tell someone the whole story, beginning to end?" I looked at her, at the beautiful home, the life we'd built together, a life they had no part in. "Yeah," I said. "I think I will." I went inside, pulled an old, cheap recorder out of my office drawer. The same beat-up yard sale recorder I'd had since I was a kid. I hadn't used it in years. I brought it back out, set it on the table. Rachel just glanced at it. "What's that for?" she asked. "Closure, maybe," I replied. "Documentation. Have it." "Emotional support plastic," I joked, but there was a truth in it. She smiled. "Start whenever you're ready." I hit record. That little red light clicked on. And I took us all the way back. I was 13 when I realized my family had assigned roles, and I'd gotten the worst one. My sister Eliza was the product, the star. I was the liability. Everything else was just damage control. Back then, I was just a kid with that $3 recorder. I'd record ambient sounds, rain, traffic, footsteps. I'd layer them on my laptop, turn a door closing into music. I taught myself production from YouTube. My family? They just thought I was weird. Eliza, a year older, was 14. A rising swim star. Butterfly specialist. Sponsors calling, college coaches watching. My parents managed her schedule like a military operation and her results like stock reports. My mom, Lydia, was obsessed with image. Her favorite line, "Perception is reality." When I asked about an audio class, she'd snap, "What kind of perception does that create?" That we're raising a kid who just plays with toys. My dad, Stephen, ran an investment firm and talked in ROI terms. When Eliza excelled, that was growth. That's where you put resources. When I brought home a B, average. Average doesn't compound. His other gem, you invest in growth, you cut losses early. He'd say it about stocks, about clients, and about me when he thought I wasn't listening. Eliza knew her position. She called my sound stuff creepy. Said I was weird for always having that recorder. She'd tell her friends I was probably recording them in the bathroom. It wasn't true, not even close, but the rumor stuck. Middle school got interesting. She'd talk about me like I was something stuck to her shoe. My brother, or whatever. The family embarrassment. My parents never, ever corrected her. Then came the week before the garage incident. Eliza had junior state championships. Huge deal. Scouts confirmed. Local news feature. Our house became a war room dedicated to her. My best friend, Connor, invited me to a maker fair with sound design workshops. I'd asked 3 weeks in advance. The day before, Mom said, "You're not going tomorrow." Why? Eliza's meet is Sunday. We need Saturday clear. It's once a year. When your hobbies generate scholarships, we can revisit priority. I didn't go. I spent Saturday in my room, just staring at the wall. Sunday morning, Eliza found me in the hallway. "Move. I'm late." Her meet wasn't until noon. "Go be weird somewhere else." I was in my own house. "Your house," she sneered. "This is my house. You just live in it because they haven't figured out what to do with you yet." She shoved past me, shoulder-checked me right into the wall. I went back to my room, checked the recorder in my pocket. I always had it. I hit record. That recording was about to matter more than she could ever know. That night, after the meet, which Eliza, of course, won, Dad found me in the garage. I was messing with some old speakers, laptop on the workbench. He came in, closed the door behind him. Walked over, shut my laptop. Slam. We need to talk about your attitude. I didn't say anything. Just looked at him. Your mother told me about yesterday. How you tried to make Eliza's weekend about yourself. I asked to go to something I'd been planning for months, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Planning for months, he mocked, like I'd claimed to be planning a moon landing. Do you understand resource allocation? This family has finite time and energy. We allocate toward growth. Eliza is growth. She's proven return. Your hobbies? They have no upside. Hobbies without upside. I filed that away. What do you want me to do? I asked, desperation creeping in. Stop existing? I want you to stop being soft. Stop acting like the world owes you attention. Your sister works. She produces results. You sit in your room, playing with a microphone, whining about fairness. I'm not whining. I'm asking for one day. And I'm telling you the answer is no. Do you know what your sister said tonight? She said she was worried you'd do something embarrassing at home while she was competing. That's what you've become. A reputational risk. Right now, you're just dead weight. He stepped closer, circling me like he was evaluating a bad asset. He tapped my closed laptop, leaned in. You're overreacting. You're too soft. You're just like your mother. My stomach dropped. I didn't look at his eyes, just his tie knot. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop making problems. Stop with the attitude. You're going to fall in line and be grateful for what you have. He put his hand on my shoulder. Firm. The kind of grip that says, I could push harder if I wanted. I looked at his hand, then at his face. And in that moment, I decided I was done being grateful for scraps. Or what? His grip tightened, just enough to make his point. Then he shoved. It wasn't a wind-up hit. Not some dramatic attempt to injure me. It was the kind of shove you give an object that's in your way. A correction. A repositioning. But I was standing on a stool, off balance, at the wrong angle. The stool wobbled once, then tipped. My foot slipped. My hand missed the bench when I reached for it. And gravity doesn't negotiate. I went backward fast. I heard the metal before I felt it. The tool chest. A sharp corner. Then, everything went black. I woke up to fluorescent lights and a heart monitor beeping. My head hurt so bad. I tried to sit up and the room tilted. A nurse appeared. Easy. Don't move yet. What happened? I mumbled. You had a fall. Hit your head. Memorial Hospital. You've been out 90 minutes. Where's my family? Your father called it in, but we can't reach anyone now. He said your mother was coming, then stopped answering. Emergency contacts aren't responding. They're probably at a post-meet dinner for my sister, I said, a bitter laugh escaping me. We need a parent here. She paused. Did someone hurt you? No. I fell. She wrote something on a chart, left me alone. Mom showed up 2 hours later. No dad. No Eliza. She walked in, looking annoyed. What happened? Fell in the garage. Hit the tool chest. Do you understand what this could look like if someone talks? We're in Eliza's exposure window. Scouts media. I had a concussion, stitches, and she was worried about optics. We look unstable. Just don't tell anyone. Minor accident at home. End of story. Sure. I'll protect the brand. Good. Your father's waiting in the car. Early call tomorrow. I didn't trip, Mom. She froze. What? Stephen pushed me. Her face went blank. That's not what happened. It's exactly what happened. We argued. He shoved me. I fell. You're confused. Head trauma. I'm not confused. Even if something happened, it would have been an accident. That's parenting. He called me dead weight, then shoved me because I had an attitude. Stop. This conversation is over. You fell. That's the story. Try to make it something else and you'll regret it. I understood perfectly. Dad didn't come into the hospital. Didn't even get out of the car when we got home. Just dropped us off. Mom walked me inside, told me to go straight to bed. I went in my room, locked the door, sat on my bed. I took the recorder out of my pocket, hit play. The audio was tiny but clear. I heard Stephen's voice, your sister works. She produces results. You sit in your room playing with a microphone and whining about fairness. Then my voice, I'm asking for one day. Stephen again, I've invested 13 years into you, and I have nothing to show for it. No wins, no distinguishing features, no upside. If you were a portfolio position, I'd have cut you years ago. Silence. Then the shove. The stool scraping. The impact. A wet metal sound. My head hitting the corner. Then, nothing. I played it 3 more times. Each time, I felt calmer. Each time, clearer. The sound didn't lie. Never had. That's why I loved it. Audio was locked. Timestamped. Permanent. I started a new audio log that night. Quietly, so nobody would hear through the walls. Sunday night, post-hospital. They're calling it a fall. The recording says otherwise. 13 years. I've protected their image. That ends now. I'm done protecting the brand. If they want to pretend we're a perfect family, they can do it without me, because I've got receipts. It was the first time in months I slept through the night without waking up anxious. It took 6 weeks to decide how to burn it down. Not with rage. Rage is loud and sloppy. What I wanted required math. Timing. Leverage. Probability of fracture. Late one night, my door locked, the house quiet except for the pool pump humming under the floorboards. I sat on my bedroom carpet with the recorder and headphones. I played the garage audio again, paused it right before the impact. Steven's voice came through that tiny speaker, dead weight. That was the moment something in me recalibrated. They didn't care about truth. They cared about perception. And perception, I realized, was just another system, one I could manipulate. So, I opened my laptop, started a new document, and wrote 2 columns at the top, Steven's insecurities, Lydia's insecurities. Not secrets. Not dirt. Just pressure points. You don't need real affairs to break people like them. You just need them to see each other the way they saw me. When I say I lied, it wasn't dramatic. I didn't forge emails or plant lipstick on collars. I used tiny truths framed correctly. A late-night text. A receipt left on the counter. A schedule gap. A too-fast explanation. Things everyone does. Things only feel dangerous when trust is already gone. And trust between my parents had never been more than a PR strategy. The first opportunity dropped right into my hands. Lydia's phone buzzed with a text from some guy named Todd. Got your message. Confirmed for tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow was Thanksgiving. When she walked back into the room, I asked, "Who's Todd?" Soft. Polite. Aiming straight at her weak spot. She froze for half a second, then lied badly about a club volunteer shift. She started keeping her phone face down after that. A couple of weeks later, Steven came home earlier than expected, claiming a client call had ended abruptly. I casually asked about California time zones. Not accusatory. Curious. He stiffened because he'd already told Lydia a different story. They fought later. I didn't hear every word, but I heard enough. Money. Schedule. Trust. The little cracks where people leak. Another day, I accidentally dropped a harmless dinner receipt on Steven's desk where Lydia could see it. Nothing scandalous, just oddly timed enough to spark questions. Enough to make them repeat themselves and realize their stories didn't match. By January, they were checking each other's phones. Coming home late to prove they weren't the guilty one. Sleeping in separate rooms. Not because anyone was cheating. Nobody was. They were just finally seeing each other without the family brand, acting as a buffer. It turns out when your marriage is built on image, the smallest smudge looks like a stain. Eliza noticed the tension immediately, and she hated it. Her swimming time started tanking because she couldn't stand anything that wasn't about her. She blamed both parents, then she blamed me. Classic. Mid-February. I heard Steven snapping at Lydia through the vent. Who is he? Lydia snapped back, who is she? The insecurity was eating them from the inside out. No affair, no scandal. Just 2 brittle people circling each other like threats. Lydia tried family therapy after Eliza threatened to quit swim meets. In the sessions, Eliza talked nonstop about her stress. The therapist asked how I felt. Fine. Everything's fine. That was enough for Lydia to cancel therapy entirely. The point had never been healing. It was optics. By April, they filed for divorce. On the surface, it looked clean, professional. Underneath, it was war. Finances. Custody. Reputation scoring. By the time the papers were signed, Eliza's season had collapsed. Scouts disappeared. Sponsors went quiet. And naturally, she blamed me. In June, Lydia decided we needed a unity dinner. The kind of thing you do when you're more worried about what a broken family looks like than what it feels like. Stephen stared at his phone the whole time. Eliza performed concern. I just sat there, waiting. Daniel, Lydia said. Anything you want to say? Nope. That's not helpful. I didn't realize I was supposed to be helpful. Stephen frowned. What's that supposed to mean? It means I've spent 13 years being unhelpful, so why start now? Eliza huffed. Here we go. Then Lydia leaned forward. What choices? So I pulled out my phone and hit play. Stephen's voice filled the dining room. Every insult. Every blow to my dignity. The shove. The impact. The sound of who he really was when no one was watching. Eliza looked at Stephen like he'd just transformed into a stranger. You shoved him. Stephen pointed at me, desperate. You manipulated us. The questions, the comments. You wanted us to fall apart. I didn't invent your worst instincts, I said, my voice steady. I just aimed them. Because the truth never mattered to you, only the version that kept you clean. Lydia's voice shook. What do you want? I wanted you to feel what I felt, I said. Congratulations. Silence. Eliza cracked first. Fix him. Therapy. Boarding school. Something. Lydia nodded. You're right. He needs structure. I stood. I need to be away from all of you. Stephen straightened. Businesslike. That can be arranged. And of course it could. People like them are excellent at packaging problems and shipping them out of sight. They didn't send me immediately. Optics first. Lydia bought new polos and khakis, like she was rebranding a product instead of relocating her son. Stephen made me sign transfer forms, like he was offloading a failing investment. Eliza didn't speak to me at all. Then late one night, I walked past the kitchen and heard Lydia on the phone with the boarding school. He's brilliant but difficult, she said. He has issues with boundaries. He records people and misinterprets things. He can exaggerate. Stephen took the phone. He responds well to firm systems, he added smoothly. Clear consequences. That's what he needs. They weren't just sending me away. They were sending the narrative ahead of me. The version where I was the unstable one, the dramatic one, the problem. I didn't confront them. I just walked back to my room, opened a new audio log, and titled it, Preloaded Narrative. By August, I was on my way to Vermont. Boarding school was exactly what you'd expect. Old brick buildings, strict schedules, kids whose parents had money and problems. I was there because I'd become inconvenient. The school had rules. Dress code, curfew, mandatory study halls, restricted computer access, phone privileges based on merit. All of it designed to build character. Reality was, it just built better liars. Rich legacy kids broke rules constantly. Got warnings and meetings with advisors. Parents flew in, made donations. Problem disappeared. I got written up my second week for being 10 minutes late to breakfast. Dorm restriction for 3 days. When I pointed out that Camden Pierce had been 2 hours late the day before, the advisor said comparing myself to others wasn't productive. I learned fast. The system protected who it wanted to protect. I made one friend first semester. A guy named Leo. Scholarship kid from Providence. He noticed I kept to myself, started sitting with me at lunch. You always have that thing. He pointed at the recorder clipped to my bag. Yeah. What's it for? I record sound. Make audio projects. That's weird. So I've heard. He grinned. Cool. Weird or creepy weird. Depends who you ask. We started hanging out. He'd work on coding projects in the library while I edited audio in the AV booth. Didn't talk much. Didn't need to. December. Someone stole my recorder from my bag in the locker room. 2 days later, I heard my own voice coming from the common room. A group of juniors playing a recording through a speaker. An audio log I'd made in October. Private stuff about the garage. About the divorce. I should have kept the personal logs on my laptop, but habits die hard. They were laughing, doing impressions. I walked in. The room went quiet. Where'd you get that? Found it. You stole it from my bag. Finders keepers. I felt the same cold, clear click from the garage incident. I left the common room, went straight to the dean's office. Told him what happened. He said he'd look into it. I said I wanted it handled now. I went back to my dorm, started documenting who was in the locker room that day. Timeline. Who was in the common room playing the audio? Exact quotes. Timestamps. I created a whole file, printed it, took it back to the dean with a list of witnesses. This is impressive detective work. It's documentation. There's a difference. Most students would have just let it go. Most students aren't used to being gaslit. He looked at me. Fair point. I'll handle it. He did. All 4 juniors got dorm restriction. 2 got suspended. I got my recorder back. I got a reputation too. The weird, quiet kid who responds to problems like he's filing a lawsuit. People left me alone after that. I found my actual home in the campus radio station. A tiny booth in the basement of the arts building. The station manager was Mr. Phillips. He taught digital media. Noticed me hanging around. You know how to use a mixing board? Yeah. Prove it. I played him a project I'd made. Layered field recordings from different parts of campus. Built it into something that sounded like music. He listened all the way through. Nodded. You're hired. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 to 6. Don't make me regret this. He never did. I spent those afternoons in the booth. The school gave me special access through the radio program. I learned broadcast equipment, produced segments, made audio essays about random stuff. Mr. Phillips never gave compliments, but he trusted me with keys to the booth and let me come in outside my scheduled time. That was better than praise. Holidays were weird. Thanksgiving, nobody came to get me. Lydia texted, saying she was taking Eliza to a training intensive in Florida. Steven said he had client commitments. I spent Thanksgiving with 12 other kids whose parents had better things to do. The cafeteria staff made a dinner. Tasted like cardboard. Mr. Phillips invited me to his house the next day for leftovers. His wife was nice. Didn't ask why I was there. Just served pie and talked about normal stuff. By spring, I'd become the go-to person for tech stuff. I started teaching myself more advanced techniques. Got good at isolating specific sounds from noisy environments. Cleaning up distorted audio. Building coherent clips from fragments. Mr. Phillips noticed. Told me I should think about forensics. Audio analysis. Legal work. Makes sense, I told him. I've been collecting evidence against my own family since I was 13. He didn't laugh, just nodded. Then use it. Take the thing they tried to beat out of you and turn it into something they can't touch. End of the year. Lydia called. First time in 4 months. Asked how school was going. Cool. Glad he told you since you never asked. Don't be like that. I'm calling now. Why? Because I'm your mother. Pause. Are you coming home for the summer? Is Eliza going to be there? Yes. Then no. I'll find a summer program. You don't want me home anyway? That's not true. It is true. You sent me here because I stopped protecting the family image. Let's not pretend this is about caring. Silence. Then I'll wire money for the summer program. Send me the details. I hung up. Found a 6-week program at a state college. Audio production intensive. Applied. Got in. Money showed up in my account 3 days later. No follow-up call. Just cash and silence. College was straightforward. State University, good program. I studied media forensics with a focus on audio analysis. Learned the technical side, spectral analysis, frequency isolation, authentication protocols, chain of custody, how to make recordings admissible in court. I also studied law, a pre-law track. Graduated with honors. Got into law school. Specialized in digital evidence and electronic discovery. Graduated again. Passed the bar first try. I didn't go into litigation. I went into consulting. Started my own firm. Digital forensics. Audio, video analysis. Evidence authentication. Turns out there was a market for that. Turns out being the quiet kid who documents everything was exactly what firms needed. Someone who could build cases that held up. First few years were small. Cases and long nights. I did good work, got referrals, slowly grew. Then one big healthcare fraud investigation put us on the map. They needed someone to analyze thousands of hours of recorded calls to find evidence of coordination between executives. It took me 4 months. I found the patterns, built the timeline, testified as an expert witness. Their case held up. My fee was 6 figures. After that, growth was steady. More corporate clients, bigger cases, higher fees. I hired staff, moved into a real office, built a proper lab with high-end equipment. I made my first 7-figure year. Bought a condo downtown. Still kept it quiet, though. Didn't post online. Just worked. I met Rachel. She worked in corporate compliance for a pharmaceutical company. They hired us to analyze some internal investigation recordings. She was the point person, professional, direct, didn't waste time. We clicked. Started getting coffee between meetings, then dinner. 6 months in, she moved in. A year later, I proposed. She said yes immediately. Planning the wedding was when my family found out I existed. I'd kept them blocked on everything. Changed my number twice. They had no idea where I was or what I was doing. Lydia sent letters to my last known address for a couple of years, then stopped. Steven sent one email through his lawyer when I turned 25 about some trust fund paperwork. I signed the forms, sent them back. Never heard from him again, until they saw the article. A local business magazine did a profile on rising firms in the area. Included my company. Picture of me in my office, talked about our case record, our client list. A week after it published, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject line, long time. Daniel, it's your mother. Saw your article. We had no idea you were doing so well. So proud of you. Would love to reconnect. We have some things going on and could really use your support. Call me. I didn't respond. 2 days later, I got a Facebook message. I hadn't posted in years, but I still had an old account I never bothered deleting. Eliza had created a new account. Added a bunch of mutual connections from my past. Started posting old photos of us as kids. Captions about missing her brother. Comments from people asking where I'd been. Her replying that I'd had some struggles and needed space, but she was hoping to reconnect now that I was stable. Then Steven showed up at my office. My receptionist called back. Sir, there's a Steven Garrett here. Says he's your father. Tell him I'm in meetings. He says he'll wait. Call security if he doesn't leave in 5 minutes. I heard her relay the message. Then her again. He's asking for 5 minutes. Says it's important. I walked out to the lobby. Steven was standing by the desk. Suit. Gray hair now. Looked older. But still had that same expression though. Assessing. Calculating. You need to leave. Daniel. Good to see you. You're trespassing. I'm your father, trying to have a conversation. You're a stranger trying to leverage a family connection for something you want. What is it? He glanced at the receptionist. She was pretending not to listen. He lowered his voice. Eliza's having some issues. Legal trouble. Doping scandal. Sponsors dropped her. Now there's talk of lawsuits. She needs someone who understands evidence. She should hire a lawyer. She has lawyers. She needs someone who can vouch for her character. I can't vouch for her character. Haven't seen her in over a decade. You're her brother. Biologically, that's it. Your mother's struggling financially. The divorce settlements ran out. She's behind on bills. Then she should budget better. Don't be cold. I'm not cold. I'm realistic. You taught me that. Roy. Resource allocation. Cutting losses. I'm just applying your lessons. This is different. It's exactly the same. You decided I was low upside and divested. Now you're back because you need something. That's not family. That's you using people. We made mistakes. You're trying to use me. Now leave before I have you removed. He just stood there. Stared at me. Seemed like he was trying to decide whether to push harder. He chose not to. He walked out. Rachel asked about it that night. I told her the basics. She didn't say much, just listened. They're going to keep trying. I know. You want me to handle it? Yeah, do that. And she did. She set up filters on my work email, updated building security, made sure the front desk had photos and instructions. No access without appointment. But they kept trying. Lydia started calling people I'd worked with, saying she was my mother, that she was worried about me, that she wanted to reconnect, but I was shutting her out. One of my clients mentioned it, said my mom had called, seemed really distressed. I thanked them and said we were estranged, and to please not share my contact info. Eliza posted on social media that she was going through a hard time and needed family support. Tagged old photos of us. People commented, asking if I knew if I was helping. She replied that she'd reached out, but I was focused on my career. Steven sent a formal letter through his lawyer. Not a legal threat, just a letter saying he wanted to discuss a business opportunity. I ignored all of it. Then Lydia showed up at the building. Rachel called me from the lobby. Your mother's here. Security stopped her. She's refusing to leave unless she sees you. Tell her I'm not available. She's making a scene. Crying. People are recording. I went downstairs. Lydia was in the lobby. Performance mode. Tears. Tissue. A small crowd watching. She saw me and reached out. Daniel, finally. I've been trying to reach you for months, she cried. And I've been ignoring you for a reason. I'm your mother. You're someone I used to know. How can you say that? I raised you. You exiled me. There's a difference. She looked at the crowd, playing to them. I made mistakes. I'm trying to make amends, but you won't even talk to me. We're talking now. Here's the conversation. Leave. Don't come back. Don't contact my firm. Don't call my colleagues. Anything you need to say can go through counsel. You'd really do that? You cut me off first. I'm just maintaining the boundary you established. Security moved in. Ma'am, you need to leave. Rachel was waiting upstairs. That was rough. That was typical. You okay? Yeah. Let her spin it. Your clients know you. That night, I recorded an audio log. First one in years. April 3rd, family showed up. Steven at the office, Lydia at the building, Eliza online. All of them running variations of the same play. Weaponize connection. Leverage guilt. Frame me as the problem. They taught me to cut losses early. Now they're mad I did exactly that. Rachel's locking things down. We're getting married in 8 weeks. I'm not letting them ruin it. Planning the wedding was simple. Small ceremony. Close friends. Rachel's family. Mr. Phillips from boarding school even offered to walk me down. Rachel handled most of the logistics. I handled the tech setup, sound system, backup recordings. 6 weeks out, Rachel set up vendor passwords. Every vendor required a password to make changes. Florist, caterer, DJ, venue. Coordinator. Simple protocol. No changes without the password. Why are we doing this? I asked. Because your family's desperate and desperate people sabotaged. You think they'd go that far? I know they would. Your family's already shown they'll manipulate and perform. This is just protecting what's yours. For weeks out, Eliza posted online about family heartbreak. Said she was going through legal issues and her brother refused to help. Posted a throwback photo of us as kids. Comments flooded in. People saying I was cold. I didn't respond. Just screenshotted it. Documentation. 3 weeks out, Steven sent a letter to my office. Not a threat, an offer. Said his firm had several clients interested in digital forensic services. Transparent. He wanted access. Wanted leverage. I sent back one line, no thank you. 2 weeks out, Lydia started calling Rachel's office. Said she wanted to send a gift. Needed the wedding registry. Rachel's assistant said we didn't have one. Lydia asked for the venue and date. Assistant said she couldn't share that without authorization. Lydia got upset. Eventually hung up. 1 week out, things escalated. The venue coordinator called. Said someone claiming to be my mother had called and tried to cancel the reservation. The coordinator asked for the password. The caller couldn't provide it. The coordinator refused the cancellation. The caller got aggressive. They tried it with the caterer, florist, and DJ too. Same script, same password failure, same anger. They'd clearly gotten the vendor list somehow. Probably called every venue and vendor within 50 miles until they found matches. Desperate people get resourceful. Rachel called me. They're escalating. I know. They'll show up. I'm already on it. Venues adding staff. Anyone not on the list gets turned away, and I'm putting together a legal notice. Cease contact. Cease interference. If they push further, we'll file. 3 days before the wedding, Eliza called from an unknown number. Daniel, it's Eliza. How'd you get this number? Doesn't matter. I need to talk. We don't have anything to talk about. You're getting married and you didn't even tell me. You're someone I used to live with. That's it. I'm going through hell right now. The doping case, the sponsors, the lawsuits, and you're acting like it's not happening because it's not my problem. I'm your sister. You're Stephen and Lydia's daughter, the golden child. I was the loss they cut. You reminded me of that constantly growing up. You don't get to play family now. She switched tactics. Voice got smaller. Daniel, I made mistakes. I was a kid. You were old enough to shove me and call me dead weight. Old enough to demand they fix me when I stopped playing along. People change. Great. Change somewhere away from me. I'm coming to the wedding. No, you're not. Security has your photo. You show up, you'll get removed. You can't do that. I can. And I did. I hung up. Called Rachel. She's going to show up. I know. Venue's ready. The day before the wedding, we stayed at a hotel near the venue. Kept it quiet. Didn't post anything. Rehearsal dinner went smooth. Small group, good food. Mr. Phillips gave a short toast about watching me grow from a defensive kid into someone who built truth into a career. Rachel's dad gave a toast about trusting someone who documents everything. Everyone laughed. Wedding day started early. Photographer arrived. Got some shots. Everything running on schedule. Rachel's sister pulled me aside 90 minutes before start time. Security just turned away your mother. Was she alone? No. Your sister was with her. What happened? They showed up. Said they were family. Security checked the list. They weren't on it. Your mother started crying. Performed the whole thing. Your sister started recording on her phone. Security stayed calm. Told them they needed to leave. They refused. Security called police. Squad car showed up. They left. They're going to post about it probably, but they're gone. The ceremony started on time. Music was perfect. Rachel looked perfect. Our vows were simple and real. The officiant pronounced us married. We kissed. Everyone clapped. It felt like winning. The reception flowed smooth. Cocktail hour. Music. Drinks. Food came out on time. During dinner, Rachel's mom leaned over. Someone's causing a scene in the lobby. I stood up. Rachel grabbed my hand. Let security handle it. Just want to see. I walked to the entrance. Stephen was there. Suit, serious face, talking to security. I need to speak with my son. Sir, you're not on the guest list. It's his wedding. I'm his father. This is private property. You're trespassing. Stephen saw me in the doorway. Daniel, please. 5 minutes. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Security blocked him. Sir, final warning. I flew out here. I've been trying to reach you for months. I am. Leave. After everything, we're still your family. No. You're people I used to know who only show up when you need something. That's not family. That's strategy. And you taught me to cut bad strategies early. Sir, I'm calling the police now. Stephen backed down. Fine. I'm leaving. But this isn't over. It's been over since I was 13. You're just catching up. He left. I thanked security and went back to the reception. Rachel looked at me. You good? Perfect. The rest of the night was clean. Speeches, dancing, cake. No more interruptions. Just us and the people who'd actually chosen to be there. We left for the honeymoon next morning. 2 weeks in New Zealand. Phones off. No emails. Just hiking and quiet. And Rachel. I checked messages when we got back. 67 emails flagged. 15 voicemails. All family related. Then 3 voicemails from Eliza that escalated. The third one threatened to contact my clients and tell them about my family issues. Rachel was in the room when I played them back. That's harassment and attempted interference with business. I know. Want me to loop in the lawyer? Yeah. I called our lawyer. She'd already prepared the legal notice while we were gone. We reviewed it. Added the new voicemails as evidence. Filed the same day. The notice was specific: no contact. No third-party contact. No use of my name in any public statements or social media posts. No contact with my clients. Violations would result in legal action, including restraining orders. We sent copies to Lydia, Stephen, and Eliza via certified mail. 2 days later, Eliza posted on social media that she was being legally silenced by her own brother. Her comments filled up with support. People calling me cruel. Rachel screenshotted it all. Called the lawyer. The lawyer sent a follow-up letter, clarified that posting publicly about the legal notice constituted continued harassment, reminded her of the consequences. Eliza deleted the post, went quiet for 3 days. Then her doping case hit the news. Turns out she'd been using banned substances through most of her college career. Testing caught it retroactively. Sponsors officially dropped her. College revoked her records. The Athletic Association banned her. Media covered it. Coaches distanced themselves. Stephen's firm got pulled in because they'd handled sponsorship contracts. Questions about whether they'd known. Their insurance company got involved. The whole thing became a mess. Lydia tried to spin it online as family stress caused by estrangement. Our lawyer sent another letter, clarified that attributing Eliza's choices to my boundaries was defamatory. Lydia took the post down, locked her account. Stephen sent one final email. Said he accepted that I wanted distance, that he respected boundaries. Very measured. Very professional. I didn't respond. A month later, Eliza's case settled. She paid fines, accepted the ban, issued a public apology. Didn't mention family. Just took responsibility. Rachel and I bought a house 6 months later. A suburb just outside the city. 3 bedrooms. A yard. Quiet street. Neighbors who didn't know anything about my family. I set up a home office. Soundproofed it properly. Built a small studio space. Still did audio work on the side. Personal projects. The stuff I'd always loved. My company kept growing. Hired more staff. Opened a second location. Our reputation held. Work stayed steady. I heard through the grapevine that Stephen's firm had taken a hit from the Eliza situation, lost some clients. He was still operating, but smaller. I heard from an old neighbor that Lydia had moved, downsized, living in a condo now, working part-time. No idea what Eliza was doing. Didn't look. Didn't care. When I finished narrating the story, Rachel was quiet for a second. Then she asked, "So what happened next?" "This," I replied. "We sat here, and I started telling you. And now we move on." I reached over and stopped the recording. Saved the file. Backed it up. Then I put the recorder back in the drawer. Rachel stood up. "Ready for bed?" "Yeah." We went inside, locked the doors, turned off the lights, went upstairs. The recorder went back in the drawer. That's where the past stays. So, there it is. The whole story. And honestly, sometimes, even now, I wonder, did I go too far? Was I justified in everything I did, or did I become just as cold and calculating as they were? I'd really love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, or you've ever had to fight for your own space, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. It really helps me out. Thanks for listening.